Welcome back to the We Aspire What's Working Gender Equity report, all about data insights into how you can advance gender equity in your company. And we're up to the financial side of things. So what are the financial implications for actually investing into, and what impact does diversity in your teams actually make? So let's have a look at what the data says. So one of the biggest standouts for us was this stat here, that if you have a 10% increase in gender diversity within your senior leadership team, that equates to 2.4% better profitability. That's from a McKinsey study, which looked at thousands of different companies, which I think is a striking statistic. Then goes on and kind of compounds with something like this. Female founders produce 63% better investor returns. Now, that's a significant difference, and one which first round capital, they're a venture capital fund out of the United States, and one which I think should be catching more headlines, that females actually do a better job with deploying and utilizing capital when you invest in those organizations. Over to this next one, topping up super. This is an interesting one. Doesn't necessarily speak to the financial outcomes for the company, but it does speak to a very interesting case study we came across in doing the research. What we found is that there was a company out there, it's an energy company based out of Australia, but actually they work globally. And what they do, or what they did in this case study, is they took their female members of staff who were taking time out to have children. And when they returned, they would take a year off. Then when they returned, they might return part-time, so for three days a week. And instead of just paying 3 days a week superannuation, which they'd have to do anyway, they actually topped it up to 5 days. So they paid an extra 2 days because they knew that the reason they were taking time out was to care for children. It's a very strong and powerful signal, which we think more companies could get behind. And the impact for the actual employee is startling. If you look at this, the cost to the company was $30,000 extra over the 4-year period to top up that superannuation. It's roughly speaking about $7,000 a year, right? In reality, though, what does that mean for the employee? Well, it turns into a whopping $200,000 extra in their superannuation because of 4 years extra and $30,000 investment from the company. So we think that could be a really powerful message to communicate to your staff. Could be a great retention tool, a way to demonstrate this company is getting really behind this, and a marginal investment if you think about if retaining an individual in your company, and especially a valued one, that can be a great investment opportunity for many companies. Over here, we're looking at how much money females raised. So it was very interesting, the data, that female founders, when it came to crowdsourcing, would raise 1.2 times that of their male counterparts. It talks to me that of trust, which actually females can inspire or kind of connect in their investor base. And that also kind of speaks to this last one, so the second to last one you'll see in a second, which talks about females being more trusted as business leaders. In this one, female-led startups generate 10% more revenue with less capital. Again, it speaks to the efficiency and their ability to use capital differently compared to men and their other counterparts. And then this last one here, female leaders are trusted more in times of crisis. A very interesting statistic, we think, which has got many, doesn't necessarily, there's lots of reasons why that might be. But if you see here, the study showed that uniquely attributed to female leaders is relational behaviors, and it's manifested only when crisis consequences are known. So the point here, relational behaviors, was really like compassion, connection, being friendly, looking to care for others. That's what they mean by relational behaviors, and certainly shows that women have great attributes when it comes to leadership. One of the last ones here is diverse management teams have higher 19% revenues due to innovation. Big one for companies out there who are having issues with productivity and innovation in particular. Gender diversity can be a really powerful way to move the dial on this, especially gender diverse teams were found to be more kind of basically come up more creative with more creativity around problems and solving issues. There was a great quote from the Boston Consulting Group. There are a few slam dunks in the business world. This is one of them, this being gender diversity. So hopefully they've kind of changed your mind or helped you kind of understand a little bit more about some of the benefits of gender diversity and what the data shows in terms of how it can actually benefit companies in a financial sense.